Late one evening outside a small tire shop, what seemed like a normal night quickly turned into a tense police encounter. Officers approached a man sitting in his truck and asked a simple question that starts many traffic stops: whether he had his driver's license with him. The man calmly admitted that he didn't have it on him, but within seconds he revealed something more serious. In an honest but nervous tone, he told the officers that he believed there might be an active warrant for his arrest. According to him, his probation officer had contacted him the previous week and warned him that he had until the 15th to deal with it. The man explained that he had recently gone through a long legal battle involving gun charges, and after spending time behind bars, he was now trying to rebuild his life. He told the officers he had come to the tire shop to earn some money and that this was actually his second job. Over and over again, he made it clear that he wasn't trying to cause any problems. In fact, he openly admitted that if there was a warrant, he knew it would eventually catch up to him, but he desperately hoped it wouldn't happen that night. The officers then explained what had caught their attention in the first place. Earlier, while patrolling the area, they had seen the man walk behind a nearby vacant building. To them, it looked suspicious enough to check out, so they circled back to see what he was doing. The man quickly tried to clear up the misunderstanding. He told them he had simply stepped behind the empty building to use the bathroom and left right afterward. He even pointed out that he had only been there for a few seconds before getting back into his truck and driving toward the tire shop. From his perspective, he hadn't done anything wrong at all. But from the officer's point of view, it was still something worth investigating. As the conversation continued, the man tried to show the officers that he had truly changed his life. He explained that the truck behind him was filled with used tires that he had collected from around the city. Instead of dealing drugs or getting involved in illegal activity like he once had, he now spent his time picking up discarded tires and bringing them to tire shops that might buy them for a few dollars each. It wasn't glamorous work, but he said it helped him stay busy and keep money coming in while he tried to stay out of trouble. However, the officers soon noticed another issue. The back of the truck was packed with far more tires than someone is normally allowed to transport without proper permits. There are strict regulations surrounding the transport and disposal of large numbers of tires because of environmental laws and illegal dumping problems. When the officers asked what he planned to do with the tires he couldn't sell, the man explained that he would simply return them to where he had picked them up. He insisted that he wasn't dumping them anywhere illegally and was only trying to sell a few to the shop for $5 each. Despite his explanation, the officers began to realize that the situation might be connected to the warrant he had mentioned earlier. When they asked him what he thought the warrant was for, the man admitted that it probably had something to do with an earlier illegal dumping case involving furniture and other items. He said that months earlier he had been caught dumping items and believed that incident was the reason the warrant had been issued. When the officers finally ran his information through their system, the truth became clear. The warrant was active, and it was connected to the dumping case he had mentioned. At first, it seemed like there might be some flexibility. Sometimes officers are able to issue a summons and allow someone to go home with instructions to appear in court later. But this situation quickly changed when the officers received a call from someone higher up who was familiar with the case. The instruction was clear: the man needed to be taken to jail. The officers explained to him that the decision was no longer in their hands. Even though they had remained respectful and calm throughout the entire encounter, they now had to follow the order they had been given. Hearing those words, the man's attitude shifted from nervous optimism to quiet disappointment. He knew at that moment there was no way around it. Sitting in the back of the patrol car, the man asked the officers if he could make a phone call before they transported him to jail. They allowed him to call his wife. As the phone rang and she answered, the weight of the situation became clear in his voice. He told her he was sitting in the back of a police car and that the officers were taking him to jail. His wife sounded shocked and confused, asking what had happened. The man tried to explain that he hadn't done anything wrong that night and had simply pulled into the tire shop to sell the tires he had collected. He reassured her that he hadn't been driving recklessly or causing any trouble. Still, the reality of the situation was difficult to accept. He told her he might have to call again later from the county jail and asked her to answer the phone when she saw the call come through. Before ending the call, the man mentioned something that made the moment even more emotional. He told his wife to let their daughter know that he was proud of her for doing well in school. He had actually planned to take her out later that evening to celebrate her good grades. Instead, the night had taken a completely different turn. The officers waited respectfully while he finished the call, then prepared to transport him. His truck, still filled with the tires he had hoped to sell, would be towed from the scene. In the end, what started as a simple investigation into suspicious activity behind a vacant building turned into an arrest connected to a past case. The man insisted throughout the entire encounter that he was trying to stay on the right path and earn money honestly. But sometimes, past mistakes have a way of catching up at the worst possible moment. As the patrol car pulled away toward the county jail, the man sat quietly in the back seat, another reminder of how quickly an ordinary evening can turn into a life-changing moment during a routine police stop.